Alright, we're going to be watching Turtlehermit, who's going to be playing Sigma and Winston and Rammatra. This is on Circuit Royale. It says the game level is low plat to low diamond. I generally assume it's low end, so we're going to say plat 5, right? We were winning pretty solidly until the enemy tank switched to Zarya. When that happened, all progress stopped, and we lost every single fight for the rest of the game, which went on another 10 minutes or so. I feel like this has to be my fault, because whenever I come up against a competent Zarya, I struggle. It's consistent. I think I've even made another post about it in the past. Sometimes Winston gets me past it, but this game, I couldn't survive at all on Winston. I don't know if it was my fault. I couldn't dive the back line. I couldn't take the Zarya. I couldn't burst the Zarya to death. We had plenty of time for me to try plenty of things, and nothing worked. I like to understand what brought us to a halt, and what, if anything, I could have done in the tank role to keep our momentum going / turn this around when we started losing. There's an edit here with some extra information. I feel confident on about half the tanks. I don't really play Maga or Junker Queen. Hammond and Doom are completely outside of my wheelhouse. My defense aren't as good as I need them to be. Everything else I'm competent or what I consider solid. Also, historically, Sigma's my best tank, but given how Zarya's have been shutting me down and how strong Winston's been this season, it's been tough to play Sigma. I have the most hours on Rhine, but he's practically unplayable for me right now. Tank this season feels like a completely different animal. Last notes, I'm on PC, and this is my last game for the night after many games played, so I was a bit tired. A note, and people will hear me say this a lot. Don't make excuses about your play, right? Like if you're gonna post a replay code, people do this all the time. They're like, oh, like I was high, I was drunk, I was tilted, I was well, like then don't post a replay code, right? Like people kind of they do this in my opinion because they're trying to protect themselves from feedback because they'd be like, oh, I can point to that excuse. But the thing is, if you want to get better, you need to like remove the excuses for why you play poorly. Anyway, I've already seen this game, so for starters, I would say I don't think it's related to Zarya. I would open up. I don't think Zarya specifically is actually your problem. So I think your Sigma is very good, right? For your level, I think your Sigma is good. I think your Sigma is above average for your rank, right? Or for this game, right? And if you played Sigma the whole way through, I think you probably would have won this game. The problem is you don't play Sigma through this whole game, and then you switch to Winston, and then you switch to Rammatra. The issue here is, and I'm going to guess a little bit that you probably play Sigma against Zarya. You don't like the matchup for whatever reason. I think it's totally playable. I don't think you have to switch off Sigma against Zarya. I think you play Sigma against Zarya. You feel frustrated, and you're like, okay, I'm going to swap to Winston, right? Because you're like, oh, I hear Winston counter Zarya. You play Winston, and you're like, let's do it. The problem is your Winston play is very, very, very poor compared to your Sigma play. That's your biggest issue. Is when I watch your Winston play, it looks up to 5 to 10 ranks worse than your Sigma play. Like, it's a huge difference. Like, the second that you go onto Winston, I look at it and I'm like, I don't think you actually know what you're doing on Winston. Like, the difference in, like, skill and gameplay sense is completely different. Your Winston gameplay is, like, you have almost no impact. As a result, they're able to completely steamroll you. Just think about this. I don't even remember if you got a kill as Winston this whole game. It's pretty rough because I don't think you know how to play Winston, and that's fine, right? Like you don't have to play Winston. Nobody's forcing you to play Winston. Is Winston good this season? I guess, but like, there's no reason why you have to play Winston, especially at this level. Like you can play anything. Just whatever you play well. That's the most important thing, right? Understand what good play looks like and endeavor for that on whatever tank you have. Again, playing Sigma against Zarya is a completely playable matchup. There's no reason why you look at the matchup and you're like, oh, I have to switch off because Zarya's unplayable, or Sigma's playing against Zarya. Is Winston good against Zarya? He is, right? For a lot of reasons. I talked about this in another post the other day. Winston's great against Zarya, but if you're bad at Winston, like at evenly skilled, does Winston advantage? Yeah. But if you're a bad Winston versus a good Zarya, you're still going to lose even if your hero is theoretically better. What's even worse is this is a really bad map for Winston. So Circuit Royale is one of the pokiest maps in the game. I think you know that because you open a Sigma, which is the default tank choice for this map. So going Winston here on a very linear map with long distance engagements is not a good idea. And I think you have trouble figuring out when you can dive safely and actually not just die right away. And I think you just kind of face tank the Zarya a lot and then you don't get anything done. So that's the kind of the big reason here. Like, why do things like go completely off the rails? It's because you go to Winston and then your Winston play is like basically unplayable at this rank. You go Rammatra, and I would say your Rammatra play is maybe a little better than your Winston play, but not by much, and it's still a significant skill drop off from playing Sigma. So that's also a problem, right? And I think that probably it's not because you're necessarily even better at Rammatra than you're at Winston. I think Ramatra's easier to play than Winston is, and so it seems like you do a little more just by existing than you would as Winston. Anyway, let's go through this. I will note that you already got a long text reply from somebody else, so I think they did a pretty good job. I skimmed over it really quickly. So I'm not going to go as much detail because I think they covered probably a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about already. So I'm going to go kind of faster through this and just focus on kind of like what goes wrong in the Winston and the Rammatra side. So we start out here. Quick note about the Sigma versus Sigma matchup. I have many videos on this. I'm pretty sure that the resource site I'm going to link is going to include Sigma versus Sigma and talking specifically about the matchup. But the most important thing is just constantly keep harassing the Sigma. If you can get to this backline, go ahead and do so. But on a map like Circle Royale, you're never going to get access to his backline. Like, I'd shoot the soldier right now if I could, but after that, she's going to slide away and just keep shooting the Sigma. Don't worry about anything else. Just keep shooting the Sigma. Right? And whoever's going to win here is either somebody else in your team is going to make the play, but in the tank versus tank matchup, it's whoever's better mechanics, you're landing hits more frequently, you understand how to juggle your shield, you always have the shield to block rock, right? And when you use grasp, you don't get interrupted by rock. That's like kind of the rock, paper, scissors of Sigma, right? You keep hitting the Sigma until the Sigma gets low. The Sigma gets low, so he uses grasp. After you use grasp, you use rock, you rock him out of it, and then you kill him. That's the general way that works. So how do you prevent that from happening? Well, you go fight. Okay, now I get kind of low, right? And then, you know, I can use my shield to try to reduce the amount of damage I get and try to force them to go into grasp mode first, right? Another alternative is I can throw shield and use grasp at the same time and walk in front of the shield, right, to absorb damage, but also use the shield to block the rock. But the most important thing is land hits, take fewer hits. At the end of the day, it's like a very mechanical based matchup. Though ultimately it does a lot, not very much overall. So this shield is kind of the start of the problem. I think you be kind of careful with your shield. Don't pop it when you don't really need it. Like, do I need shield right now? Because think about it. Let's draw this out for a second. So this is the corner right here. You're over here, right? I use blue for friendlies, right? Red's over here. You got a bunch of teammates here. Notice that all of your teammates can shoot the Sigma, okay? But none of the enemy team can shoot you, right? They have no line of sight on you. So as long as you stand here, this is already a winning position. And by winning position, I mean the Sigma has to go backwards or he'll lose. Because right now, this is a 4-on-1. The problem is, if you step over here, right, then you've evened it out, right? Because all of a sudden, they can now start shooting you again. So a really important part about playing tank is understanding to play the corner, right? If I can play the corner here and use my whole team to focus on the tank, I'm going to win this by default without having to use any resources. No shield, no grasp, no rock, nothing. Literally, if I just stand here, even if I stand still right here, this Sigma has to go backwards because there's way too much damage coming in. He has to go backwards. And understanding that helps you conserve your resources for when you really need it. Because that shield doesn't really do anything. And now rock comes, and you should block this with shield. Rock is a super telegraphed attack. It's a very slow-moving projectile. It's easy to block, but you can't block it because you let your shield break, which is silly, right? That shouldn't happen. Number 2, Disruptor Shot. I feel like you think Disruptor Shot doesn't do any damage. It does a lot of damage. It does something like 215 damage or something crazy. It does a ton of damage. You can't just stand in this. Like, short periods, sure. But standing through the whole thing puts a lot of pressure on your team because you're reducing the overall amount of resources you have because it forces your healers to then focus you and support you, right? For example, right now, the Mercy might be like, oh god, the Sigma's really low, let me heal him. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Every second your Mercy is healing is a second you are more likely to lose the game. Because Mercy's healing is not very good. It's like, depending on how you measure it, something like second, third worst healer in the game in terms of healing power. You want the Mercy to be damage boosting. Every second she's damage boosting, your Soldier or your Ashe is a very good chance that they get a pick, and then you roll forwards. You do not want to be healed by your Mercy as a tank. Frankly, you don't want to be healed by Mercy, period, if possible, but like, especially as a tank, you don't want to be healed. You want the Kiriko to just be able to keep you up with, 70-ish health a second, right, 75-ish health a second, on an occasional basis. That's what makes Sigma good, is that sustain aspect. Okay, you're not a bursty hero. You're not like, oh, let me run in, like pocket me. I'm Maga. I run in there, pocket me, we'll kill everybody. That's not the way Sigma works. Sigma is a very methodical, attrition-based hero. I'm going to burn them down over time, never being in danger of dying until they ultimately collapse. Because I don't have to worry about ammo, and between shield and grasp, I have an excellent sustain, right, to be able to continually stay up. So everything that's going on right now is very problematic. And I would say that Sigma is still your best hero that I see in this game by a long shot. I still think on average you're probably as good or better than the average player in this lobby. But I'm telling you guys, if I was the opposing Sigma, and obviously like I play like I'm gonna be better than you, but I'm just noting that literally we are 20 seconds into the game and 5 seconds to the first fight. If I was watching this, I would already know I'm gonna win the game. Like 95, 99% of chance I'm gonna win the game. Because I can already tell I'm mechanically way better than you, and I can prove it in the first 5 seconds. Because I would be basically full health with shield. I've already broken your shield, and you'd be in danger of dying. Because you just don't know what to be doing, right? And that's the whole point of the VOD review, is to explain, like, why would I be so much better than you in literally 5 seconds of gameplay? Like, I would already be like, yep, you don't know what you're doing. I'm going to punish you all game long. All right, so Grasp is used. Ash Dynamite goes in. So this is a good example of, like, look, what do I do right now? I can't really get access to the backline. I'd have to walk very, very close, like up to here, to be able to hit the backline. That's fine. Just use the card as cover, keep shooting a Sigma. That's all you gotta do, just keep shooting a Sigma. I know it feels kind of ridiculous, because you're like, oh, like what, you know, like the Sigma's getting pocketed. That's fine. That's just the way Sigma versus Sigma works. Just keep hitting the Sigma. If the supports or backline backs up or steps forward, then you can attack them, for sure. But at this point, I'm too far away. I don't want to step into the open and try to go for them. You can just stack Sigma. That's fine. Like, you're gonna win. You're gonna take this corner sooner or later. So, you throw up the shield here. I feel like somebody told you once, you should throw up shields to block healing for the enemy tank. And now, because I see this all game, you think, I should always throw my shield up to block healing for the enemy tank. Your shield had 360 health when you threw it. It's at 110 right now. This shield is going to break instantly. So unless this Sigma was about to die, like right now, that shield's not going to do anything in terms of blocking healing. That's number one. Number two, the Sigma's not even low. Right? Like, even if you block healing here for 5 seconds, this Sigma's not going to die. He's literally just going to be like, oh, I'm just going to walk backwards. Oh, I'm in danger of dying? I pop Grasp. He's not going to die here. There's no scenario here where he's going to die. So you're just wasting time throwing a shield up instead of applying more damage. Okay? You do about 75 damage a second, right? It's like, not trivial. Just keep hitting him over and over and over again, incessantly. Just keep applying that damage. That's the way you're going to win. Good example why you need Rock, right? What did you use Rock for before? Probably for no good reason, right? So, again, why are we throwing this Rock? Is this Rock going to lead to a kill? Is it going to create an advantage? No. Even if you hit the Sigma, who cares? He gets right back up. It's nothing, right? That's not going to... Full health Sigma in front of 2 supports is not going to die. But now look, when there is a vulnerability, okay? Right now, Sigma is using Grasp, okay? So I can cancel Grasp here and do damage, right? Is he going to die? No, he's not going to die here. But I at least can cancel out the Grasp and do a lot more damage and now walk into him. Because now he doesn't have Grasp, which means that he's not going to be able to use it for what, like another 12 seconds-ish? What's the timing? 10 seconds. No, 12 seconds. Oh, wow, I can't really remember that. So, for another 12 seconds, this Sigma is potentially vulnerable, right? Now I can push into him. Now I can shield behind him and potentially get a kill. Now's the opportunity. But you don't have it because you didn't rock him out of Grasp. So, we're just chilling right now. Again, you really shouldn't walk into the Disruptor shot, and there's no need to. Like, just stand right here. You don't have to walk into this, just stand here and shoot the Sigma. You're just taking extra damage. Like, you see right now, you're standing in the Disruptor. Like, there's no reason for this. Now you get super low. You're gonna have to pop Grass because you get so low. Sigma tries to rock you, right? Again, what are we using Rock for? So, full health Sigma, why are we rocking him? Is that gonna get the kill? No. But if we could rock him right now... Right? This is over. Rock here, one attack, he's dead. I could solo kill him at this point in time. But you don't have Rock, because you don't understand the Sigma matchup. Which is why, again, if you want to understand this matchup, if you're playing Sigma and Circuit Royale, you have to understand the Sigma versus Sigma matchup. If you want to climb, right? So, I have resources linked. They're basically all in Circuit Royale because Sigma's played so frequently on it. You can watch myself play the matchup, you can watch other people play the matchup, and me coaching them through it. Same deal, right? You gotta understand how to play Sigma versus Sigma matchup. So, we're gonna get through here. It's perfect, basically fine, right? Okay, great. Tank dies, makes a mistake, and we're just kind of rolling from here. So, they play Winston. That's fine. I don't care. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm not great against Winston. I think Winston is stronger against Sigma, but this is a bad map for Winston, as I previously mentioned. This is fine. I don't need to rush. Just keep attacking him. He can't stand there. Like, the Winston cannot stand here. If he stands here for the next 10 seconds, he loses the fight. Because what's the Winston going to do? He has to dive at some point in time. Just keep hitting him until he forces him to dive. Then keep hitting him after he dives. Then he leaves, and then you win. Because what's he going to do after that? Then he's going to go all the way back to supports, get healed, and it's 12 seconds until he has another bubble. That's the period where you go up and you cap it. Right? Just be patient. Right? Just keep landing hits. You got to land hits here. Really important. You're only 1 for 4 right now. Okay, he bubbled early. Excellent. Great. By the way, this is a moment where I want to shield. I want to shield off right here to shield off the Soldier and the Ash. I don't think you want to use Grasp right now because there's no guarantee that you're actually going to take any damage at this moment in time, and the Winston is zapping. So I just chill. Just play slow, right? Just chill. Just play slow. You're fine. Right? You're going to win this. Like, this is what's really, really helpful when you have a lot of experience and game sense. You're going to win this fight eventually. They just don't have the personnel, unless they get picks, they don't have the personnel to be able to stop you. The Winston is not an attrition-based tank. He needs to decisively go in and win a fight. The problem is his team is not equipped to be able to help with that because they're all poke. If they're like, let's say, Echo Genji or something like that, yeah, they could jump in and wipe you all. But they don't. The Winston's the only dive character they have, so all I gotta do is just stand back and just keep burning him down, and eventually we will win the fight. So, Rock throws a Sigma, okay, Winston, that's fine, right? Again, I feel like, oh, you're shielding off to get a heal, but this one's not gonna die. Like, he still has jump even, so he could jump through the doorway if you wanted to. This one's not gonna die. So, you really should target the Ashe right now. I don't know if you can see her help or not, but I would target the Ashe anyway because she's a DPS and this Winston's not gonna die. Again, I haven't seen this Winston dive yet, right? He still has jump. This Winston's not gonna die. It's like very obvious to me that he's not gonna die. That's game sense that you need to have. This Winston hasn't used jump yet. Any moment in time this Winston wants to leave the fight, he leaves the fight. That means he's impossible to kill right now. So who else can I kill? Maybe the 30 health Ashe is running away from the fight. That's who I should kill, right? Your Soldier ends up getting killed. Anyway, it's fine. Now, I'm in shield and I'm low. I'm chasing the Winston out with 350 health. Half health for a tank is nearly one-shot territory. Okay? That's what you think of is, this is not, oh, I'm pretty healthy. This is, I'm actually nearly dead. So one pop from, for example, the Sojourn, right, will nearly kill you. Sojourn does 195 damage on a headshot, right? Plus 50% damage on 195 damage on a body shot on a fully charged. Plus half for a headshot is 300 damage, which is easy on tanks. That's 300 instant damage to you. You have to respect that. Like, you can't just be running around being like, oh, I'm fine. I'm sitting in a bubble. I can't get healed, right? Trying to fight this Winston right now, but your team doesn't need you to do anything. Literally, your team just needs you to step back. Just step out of the bubble, play back, easy win. Instead, you're going to die in the bubble. For the record, your team is trying to heal you, right? Your team is trying to heal you. They just can't because you're in a bubble, and now you're also in disruptor shot, so you're taking a ton of damage, and then you just die to that. This is sloppy play, right? If you think, oh, how do I control this game, right? One of the things I forgot to mention was the title. It was like, tank games feel less in control this season. This is easily controllable. Just don't die here. All you had to do was step back. You didn't need to make any plays. It wasn't like, oh god, we're down a player or whatever. I have to go try to do something to flip it around. Literally just step away from the bubble. That's all you do. Step away from the bubble, destroy the bubble, walk forwards, and you win fight. It's the easiest fight win ever. They had almost no ability to win that fight, other than to get a pick. Alright, so you stagger way too much here. It's not really worth even talking through it. I think it's very obvious that you stagger here, but your Mercy reses you. It's fine. You do Flux here. I think Flux is pretty good. You get 3. I would try to hit the same target twice, but I think they're together, so it's fine. So you get double kill. Excellent. I think you try to cap here, but are you going to get it? Oh my god, you're going to get it. All right, great. We'll take it. Anyway, skipping forward, nothing super exciting, right? This is all just like chaotic messiness. I would not stay on the cart. I would step up. Because your job is not to play on the cart, right? One of the best tips you'll ever get for almost all heroes, but especially tanks, is don't play in the cart. Your team doesn't need you on the cart. Your team needs to be here, blocking this doorway. You want to be standing around here, right? Or here, right? Any of these possibilities, I don't know why I did this one, there's a wall in the way, right? To constantly apply pressure to seal off this doorway, to force them to use cooldowns to walk through, right? Because the cart moves for free as long as you do that. Your extra 33% move speed is not good. See, your Kiriko even steps up because she's like, okay, I guess if you're not going to step up, I will. Now, because you're not playing up, that means the enemy team is able to get a clean engage here. You see how they're all able to walk out the door. Think about it. If you're firing shots in, everyone's taking tons of splash damage, right? The Winston has to jump you, or the Genji has to jump you, or something else to be able to create some space. Otherwise, it's a problem. Instead, the Winston gets a good dive in. He hits 2 targets, gets 1 in low, right? None of the Mercy gets burned down, and the Mercy dies. Because you're not there. That never happens if you're blocking this door, right? But because you play so far back, now you've lost your Mercy. Once you lose the Mercy, the fight's over. Like, technically, could you turn it? You could, but like, generally speaking, I think I would assume if I lose a hero at the very beginning and can't trade out immediately, you're gonna lose the fight. Like 75% of the time, you're gonna lose. So, team manages to get the res, flips it anyway. I don't know why you didn't kill the Genji. All right, we're gonna push up here. So this is good, right? You push up, try to block the doorway. Yeah, that's fine. Don't be afraid of Winston. Winston only does 70 damage a second. 70 damage a second is 0 damage to a tank. Like, I literally would just walk up and body block him in the face. Because he does, again, against the tank, Winston does 0 damage. That's your perspective. Tanks, Torbjorn turret, right? Moira grasp. These are things that do so little damage that tanks just ignore them. Could you technically die to it? You could. But at full health, it's not going to change my play at all. I would pretend this Winston is literally, like, weaponless. And just walk into him and prevent him from getting engaged. Because I don't want him to touch the cart. Alright. Bang him around. Okay, great. Excellent. Get the kill. So we're rolling, right? And again, I think Winston's good against Sigma, but the problem is Winston's so bad at this map, and you're able to win by default by literally not doing anything fancy. You just keep shooting, right? Like, what are they gonna do? They have no dive. There's no synergy in the lineup. All right, Zarya comes out. Universal rule of playing with Zarya. How many bubbles does she have? I need to know that all the time. 0, 1, or 2. Always need to know that. Zarya begins every fight with 2 bubbles. By the time both bubbles are used, she usually has a 3rd bubble coming up. After that bubbles expires, she only has bubbles 20% of the time, because bubbles take 10 seconds to recharge and only last 2 seconds. So she can only have bubble up 20% of the time after her first 2, arguably 3 bubbles are used. That's not a lot. So all I gotta do is survive to the first 3 bubbles and constantly pressure her after that, incessantly. Never let her get cover, never let her step up, right? Never let her hide, right? Just constantly keep hitting her because I have no ammo. I don't need to overload. I always do the same amount of damage as Sigma. Keep applying pressure constantly. Right now when she's standing still, using a bubble is not the time to do this. But this is actually a pretty good timing for a grasp. The Zarya barely doesn't have bubble. I checked that earlier, right? Just keep attacking. Yeah, that's fine. You're fine. Like, keep attacking. Walk forwards. Don't worry about the cart, right? You're like way too worried about like, oh, can I move the cart faster? Don't worry about it. Just apply pressure, right? Just try to get kills right now. Flush them out of cover, right? Try to get kills for your team. So, reminder, there's a Kiriko and there's a soldier who's fully charged on your flank. So, while I understand you're trying to kill the Zen, you can't get too aggressive here. Okay, now I'm in disrupt shot, I back up. Forget it. Like, it's fine. I'm not gonna get this. It's fine. You're still trying to get it. Like, the greed here. It's like you're in disrupt shot, which reminder does over 200 damage. Don't do this. Just pop grass right now and walk backwards. That's all you gotta do. Instead, you get absolutely obliterated, right? And what could have been an easy win, you throw it away. This is a bad res. Not your fault. Nothing you can do here, right? All right, now we've got Winston. So, why do I say that you're not very good at Winston? Well, the whole gameplay loop of Winston is I don't take any damage, right? I minimize damage. I get close to their backline, close-ish. Then I dive in, I zap, 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 I drop bubble when I need to, zap, 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 and then I jump back to my team. That's what I need to be doing. Is that what you do? No. First of all, why am I zapping the tank? The tank is not going to die here, right? Her whole team's there, I just lost 2 people. No, this is not going to work. I need to just get out right now. So, watch. Like, so the next thing I'll say is bubble, okay? Using defensive bubbles, like bubbles that keep you alive in your backline or your team alive in your backline, are almost always throwing. I would say 95% of the time doing that is the wrong call. The only time you should be using bubbles is when you are using it to apply more damage pressure to the enemy. There are exceptions, something like Diva Bomb, right? But generally speaking, you want to be using bubbles to allow you to do more damage, right? I talk about this a lot, but one of the things I talk about to evaluate how good a bubble is, how much extra damage were you able to do with the bubble, okay? If it's under 50, you're straight throwing. Like, there's no way you could possibly win a game if your average damage from a bubble is under 50. Like, it's not possible. If it's 50 to 100, that's a bad bubble, but, you know, playable, right? That's probably a 40% win rate chance. If you're 100 to 150 and you're averaging, that's good. Now we're looking at like 50 to 55% win chance. If you're doing like 150 to 200, now we're looking at great territory, right? Now we're looking at 60% plus win chance. If you're doing over 200 damage with the bubble, then you're phenomenal. Now we're looking at 75% plus win chance. That's your perspective is, how much extra damage does this bubble give me? Well, let's ask ourselves, how much damage did you get with this bubble? We jump, we put the bubble down, 0 damage with this bubble. Right? This bubble doesn't help you do anything, right? It's like, oh yeah, it helps my team get through, but like your team was not in danger of dying. Everybody here is at basically full health. Like, they don't really have an angle here to shoot at the doorway. You don't need to put the bubble around. You don't worry about it. Like, let your team worry about it. If they get picked or whatever by Widow or Hanzo, that's up to them. But like, you yourself use the bubble selfishly. Stop thinking about your team. Think about you. How can I do my job? And again, now I don't have bubble. So from here, I could jump up top, apply damage to the Genji, zap them from above, blah, 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 blah. I would also have bubble in this situation, but without bubble, you're pretty screwed, right? Now I'm shooting this Zarya, who does a bazillion damage right now, right? And I get super low, and I die. And by the way, I also had jump available, right? This is not a short amount of time that you're alive for. Think about it. Starting from when you start zapping the Zarya, okay? You start taking damage right now, right? Once the Zarya starts zapping me, I'm getting out, because Zarya, full charge, right? She looks like she's basically full charge. Yeah, she's full charge. She's doing, what, 180 damage a second? I'm doing 70 damage a second. I'm tickling her, and she's melting me. I don't want to be taking this fight. She's not going to die. She's behind cover. She's double-pocketed. Like, there's nothing. She's not going to die here. Just leave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost 5 seconds go by before you do anything. You just die here. Like, literally, just watch this. Does this Winston look like a Winston that knows what he's doing? Like, what is the difference between this Winston and Bronze Winston? Let's think about that right now. What would a Bronze player have done worse than this? I can't think of anything. Like, I don't know, dive in. Diving in actually would have gotten more value because he would have done some damage and farmed some ult charge. Like, you literally just don't do anything. You're like, oh, I guess I'm going to die here, even though I have jump available, and then you just die. And, yeah, are you going to make mistakes? You're going to make mistakes. I'm sure this happened too quickly, and you like weren't processing in time. So be it. But, like, this is not going to be the only one of these. So, all right, here we go. So again, Winston's really bad on this map. There's a reason why he's really bad on this map, because it's really hard to get engaged. Kiriko dies, I turn around. There's no reason. We don't need to do anything. We just chill. Just turn around, wait, right? Mercy gets the res off or not, right? She respawns, whichever it is, then go in after that. Just don't do anything right now. By the way, I'm also missing 100 health. Why am I missing 100 health? Right? Well, I jumped into the open here, and then I got blown up. And then I don't wait for healing. Just sit here. Just tap, I need healing, wait, and then go left room if you want to. But you're missing 100 health. You need that health. Like, it's Winston is a very squishy tank. So you try to go back, which is good. You put down bubble, which is bad. Now I don't have bubble. But I guess maybe you thought it was gonna help with the res. It's fine. So be it. We're gonna wait for the Kiriko. Or at least that's what we should be doing. Right? We're just chilling. Right? Kiriko finally gets rezzed. Okay, so now it's a 5-5. Where are we going? Right? From here, the Zarya was in front of you. You jumped all the way over here. You're not landing on any targets. You're too far away to be able to damage anybody. And even if you had bubble, the bubble wouldn't help you do anything. Where are you going? Best case scenario here. Best case scenario here, you're trying to kill the Zarya, which would mean jumping on top of the Zarya, bubbling her off, and trying to kill her through the bubbles. I think that's extremely unlikely because she hadn't used any bubbles so far, so she had 2 bubbles. So you'd have to blow through 2 bubbles and probably nearly a third, right? Because it'd be up by then. And the fact that your bubble would have expired by then and she would have been double pocketed. And she's high energy, so she just kills everybody in the bubble anyway. So, even if that was your plan, it's a bad plan. And also, you messed it up because you don't have the mechanics to do a short jump, right? I look at this, and I see you over jump, which tells me you don't know how to do a short jump. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, when I say short jump, you're like, what the heck is a short jump? That's what I mean when I say you don't know how to play Winston. This is like a very, very, very basic technique where you just hold backwards when you jump, and that way you go half the distance instead of the full distance. If you don't know how to do that, it is impossible to play Winston. Like, I cannot imagine playing Winston without having short jump, because you actually do short jumps more than any other jump, quite frankly, because of often the way the engagement distance works. So, again, I have guides and links on how to like do jumps and do the certain kinds of jumps. You can't be doing this. This is throwing. The second you do this, you have lost the fight. There's like almost no possible way you can win the fight from this situation, from this scenario. Right? Your team would have to absolutely carry from here. Is that what's going to happen? Well, we're all over here. We're going to pop bubble, right? Zap the squishies, and then you're going to die here. Again, you have jump again. I would notice that you have jump the whole time. Right? 2, 1. I have jump right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you don't use your abilities, it is not very good. Would it have changed anything here? It wouldn't have, because you've made way too many mistakes at this point in time to be able to do this. So, how would we have done this differently? Well, it's tricky, because first of all, the Zarya has massive ult advantage on us, right? She has grab, we have nothing. So, if it comes down to one fight, it's bad. That's fine. Let's just fight and die quickly, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to walk in, right? Get past the Zarya, and then she's going to bubble. Great. Now I jump backline, and then I pop bubble, and I zap, 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 and then I walk out the backside of the bubble, and then I jump back. If she grabs me before then, I guess we're going to die, right? There's not a lot I can do about that, but that's fine. Like, that's what ults are for. Sometimes grab is a very strong ultimate. It's just kind of an automatic win. But that's the best possible play here. Good news is you still have another fight. That's fine. Let's go. All right, so we're going to come out here. Again, same deal, right? I want to just get in position. I wouldn't worry about right clicks. Right clicks, I think, are very deceptive because new players spend way too much time thinking about right clicks. Your right click does 30 damage per second, right? Assuming you do it perfectly, that you hit every single one and you zap the instant it's fully charged. I guarantee you your actual effective DPS is going to be something like 15. It's effectively useless, right? The only thing that matters is if you're trying to jump a single target charging beforehand. There's a lot of setup. I would never wait for a zap if I had the opportunity right away, because Winston opportunities are not that easy. Like, it's not that often you'll get them, so you need to go as soon as you create the opportunity. I have 377 health. Just wait. Like, my team's not here. We got 25 seconds left. Plenty of time. That's enough time to walk from the spawn all the way to the cart, right? With a few seconds left over. Plenty of time here. Just chill. Wait for healing. No. See, you're not waiting for healing. You're missing 260 health. Nothing as good is going to happen here. Like, this is a very, very hard situation for you to possibly do anything. But regardless, we're here. Okay, let's say we do want to go in here with 360 health. I would jump on top right away and then put down bubble and try to stay alive, right? Farm primal. But you put down bubble here. As already mentioned, this bubble gives you 0 damage. Okay, you got a zap there. Great. You got 50 damage out of this. This is throwing territory for Winston. That's what I'm saying. Like, your Winston is so much worse than your Sigma play. It's not 5 ranks. It might not even be 10 ranks. It might actually honestly be worse than 10, more than 10 ranks worse than your Sigma. Again, this is not something to be like embarrassed about or anything like that. If you don't play Winston, you're not going to be good at Winston. I'm going to guess that you have way more hours than Sigma than you Winston. Nobody picks Winston's one of the hardest tanks to play, right? Not from a game sense, I mean from a game sense perspective too, but like mechanically, like it's difficult. There's a lot of things going on there, right? You gotta really put in a ton of hours of Winston. I don't think anybody would even be remotely competent at Winston until you put in like 50 plus comp hours in Winston is when you might be approaching like, oh, I kind of know how to play Winston at this point in time. I'm gonna guess that you don't have that many hours or you don't have that many recently. Regardless, you really need to go. Sitting back here is no bueno, right? Because like, what's your plan from here? You just get shredded. Now you're 8 health and now you're dead. Like, you have no plan. And the fact that you have no plan indicates to me that you don't know how to play Winston, right? Don't put yourself in a position where I have half health, no bubble, walking away from the enemy tank without being in position to dive anybody. Like, you've made so many mistakes from being in this to even get to this spot that it's like not recoverable. Okay, so somehow your team manages to push through. This also tells me that you don't know how to play Winston, right? Or you don't have experience playing Winston because you didn't realize you couldn't make this jump. So you could have gotten closer here to the edge, and by the way, if you jump physically spacebar first and then leap, you can get a little more extra distance out, which would have been potentially enough to get onto the Widow. But you missed that one. Okay, that's not so good. That's fine. We're here. I would note is you'll see right away, this soldier is nearly dead. Wait, what? I have 476 health. Keep zapping her. She's gonna die. She's like right about to die. Why am I not zapping her? You see how you run away from her? What are you doing? This is like the best kill opportunity you've had all game long. And you let her live. This can't happen, right? As any tank, if a DPS is in my face and she gets all the way down to 50 health, right? Sub 50 health right now, and I still have 80% of my health, why am I not killing the DPS while she can't get healing because she's in the bubble? Like, you did all the hard work already jumping in here and putting the bubble down. Just get the kill. But because you don't get the kill, now she gets away. And now it's super hard to win the fight. Actually, this is a short jump, so you do know how to do short jump. Excellent. So, Primal Rage. Primal Rage, one of the hardest abilities to use in the game. I don't blame you for being bad at it. It's hard. I whiff it sometimes too. This Primal Rage gets you no value. Alright, we hit once. Alright, we hit it twice. Can we chase? Nope, we jump into the middle of nowhere. Now we're just swinging around. I mean, maybe you're like, oh, I gotta stand on the cart. But I hit the Zarya, and then you die. The key with Primal Rage is you gotta find one target, isolate, and get the kill. For the record, I think you have almost no chance of winning this. Right? Because right now it's a 3-on-5, and since you never dealt with the Widow was gonna kill somebody in your backline. But if you do this, I would jump in, right? I would jump behind here, behind the Zen, land. Zap, 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 with bubble, right? They get me low, I pop primal, I knock both of them towards this wall. I'm swiping left because you should swipe your screen with the swings. So you swipe, then you knock them towards the wall. Short jump in, land, swipe again, they'll probably get knocked here and swipe out this way. Short jump again, swipe, right? And that should get at least one kill, and the other one will be low or dead. That is the way that you would do this if you executed perfectly. Would I be able to do that? I'm not going to say that I definitely would, but I would definitely do a lot of damage, right? And for sure, I would give myself a fighting chance to win the fight, right? But you give yourself no chance here. See? But for Primal, Kiriko's not a good target to focus because she has Swift Step. As soon as you go on her, she just leaves. And now what? Right? And if your team was here to follow up, you're not. But you have no team here, right? Even if you did have the team, like, she's going to Swift Step to somebody in the back line. That's why I'm saying go after the Zen. The Zen has no mobility. He can't escape. Unless he has trance, he's not gonna, like, I can focus him down the whole time. He might get healed, he might get bubbled, so be it. Like, I'm pretty limited on options here. But you gotta focus somebody down. Focusing a target who's never gonna die is not gonna help you unless there's a teammate able to follow up on that. Okay, so we covered Winston, right? So your original question was, hey, why did it all go south? I'm telling you, the moment that you win Winston, it all went south. Like, on a 1 to 100 scale, right, relative to your rank, I think that your Sigma play is like 85. Pretty good. Right? Enough that I think you would win more games on average if you were just one-tricking Sigma. But your Winston play is like 20. Like, it's a massive drop-off in value. You just don't look comfortable playing Winston mechanically, game sense-wise. Like, you don't have a plan, right? The whole thing is just, is pretty rough. Why are we backing up here? Did somebody not spawn? Is the Mercy late? Is that what's happening? Yeah, Mercy's late here. That's fine. Somebody else will pick her up. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm debating how much of a so we're back into like 101 territory, right? So for Sigma, I think that generally, I don't need to talk about 101, right? Like I think you understand like the basic level of playing Sigma up through platinum-ish, right? And maybe, you know, the stuff I talk about Sigma versus Sigma is more like diamond level stuff. For Winston, I feel like I had to roll all the way back to like silver gold level stuff of like what you need to be doing and how you end up playing. For Rammatra, once again, it feels like, hey, I feel like I need to cover like really basic stuff. For example, everything you do should help you win the fight because winning fights wins games. How does this shield help you win this fight? Because the people who actually need this shield are your teammates who are above. But do they really? First of all, they already have cover, right? So if they chose, like, they can just sit behind cover over here. But even the shield would help them. This shield does not help them. This shield's not doing anything. Their backline can easily shoot. The only thing the shield is protecting is you. No one's even trying to shoot you right now, and even if they were, you're full health. So you could just eat the damage, it's fine. This is a completely useless shield. Alright, now as Zarya walks through, alright, you clearly don't feel comfortable. I mean, to be fair, part of this is you're out of position because you're going back to pick up the Mercy, which you shouldn't have done. But that's fine, right? Whatever, we'll give up the first corner, right? The problem is we're giving up a whole fight here, right? So you only have basically 1.5 fights left to do this, but it's fine. Alright, let's look at the Zarya. So, how many bubbles does Zarya have? Well, I haven't seen her bubble in a while, so I would assume she's at 1.5 to 2 bubbles. Okay? See, that bubble happened above, but I may not have noticed that in game. So I would assume the Zarya has 2 bubbles right now. You're clearly vortexing behind her because you're like, oh, I'm going to cut you off and I'm going to kill you. What is your plan to kill a full health Zarya who has at least 1 bubble? Like let's think betting odds, okay? What are the odds, 0 to 100%, that you can kill the Zarya right now? Is it 100%? Like, would you guarantee you can get this kill? No. Right? I mean, 100% is like pretty much almost never going to happen. But generally speaking, no. Right? Is there a 75% she kills Zarya? I don't think so. It's pretty hard to hit her with staff already. She's like a lot thinner than most other tanks. And there's also 2 extremely high health, high healing rate supports back there. So I'm probably not going to kill her 75% of the time. And I'm going to kill her 50% of the time? I don't think so. Again, she's full health. She has 2 supports. Like, my staff only does 120 damage a second. Ana heals for 94 health a second, and Kiriko heals for about 75, 77 health a second. They can literally out-heal my damage unless every single shot I have is a headshot, which is obviously unreasonable. And that's not including the fact that Zarya has bubble. So the odds of you killing her is not 100, it's not 70, it's not 50, it's not 25%, it's not 10%. There's 0% chance you get this kill. If I swap place, or if we swapped yourself with the best Rammatra player in the world, number 1, right? Some owl level player who is a god tier Rammatra player, and you gave that Rammatra, and you gave that number 1 Rammatra in the world, you gave them aimbot, this Zarya's still not going to die. There's a 0% chance that this Zarya is going to die right now. Now, why am I going through all this? Because this Vortex is useless, right? It's not going to stop this. It's not going to kill the Zarya. This is not a scenario where you're like, oh, I'm going to force the Zarya back and we're going to get killed. Like, your whole team is playing back around the corner and retreating. This is a retreat scenario. You should play back and play this corner. You are not pushing into the Zarya right now. If anything, you should throw Vortex supports and try to shoot them with your staff. But, like, this is all useless. Like, let's track all the things you do from here, okay? So, from the beginning, you put down shield. The shield is useless for aforementioned reasons. The staff, okay, we got a little bit of damage in there. Fine, right? Okay, we finished the ammo. Now we're zapping. We're not really hitting a whole lot because, again, your aim is also an issue. But, like, you know, we're doing okay, fine, right? It's okay, fine. This Vortex, completely useless. This shield, completely useless. Zarya just walks through it, right? She wants to beam you down, she beams you down, right? It's not blocking healing for him. It's not blocking damage on you because they didn't have LOS on you anyway. The shield, also useless. Now I'm using the staff, right? Still, mostly useless. Alright, now I pop Vortex. Possible value, but again, I don't really want to be crossing corner, especially since I'm down 1. I really need to be retreating right now. This is not a good time for Nemesis. I pop the Zarya bubble myself, right? Now I've lost multiple heroes. I go for the Ana. Great, got the Ana kill. Oh, that reminds me. Did you get a single kill with Winston last game? I don't think so. Or last round? I don't think you got a single kill with Winston. Which is what I'm trying to say is, like, your Winston play is, like, a huge step down. You just don't have the mechanics of game sense to understand when you can get kills with Winston. Anyway, we go up here, right? You kill the Ana, which honestly is pretty lucky. There's no real reason why the Ana should die here, right? With the Kiriko right next to her. But fine, right? You kill the Ana, and then you're going to die. Unfortunate, but you also lost multiple teammates. But overall, you're not doing very much in Rammatra. Like, the kill that you got is, like, very, very late. And now the problem is you have to run back when they're right about the cap. This is a really bad situation. This is why you should have backed up. It's way easier to hold this corner when you're already here than it is to drop down onto the cart to stall it. This is much, much, much harder to deal with. You're already half health. Your soldier drops down to try to stall. It gets a kill. Holy, wow, that's impressive. How does he get this kill here? What the heck? Oh no, he kills earlier. I was like, all right. So your soldier drops down because he's like, look, are we contesting the cart? We're contesting the cart. You're clearly not on the same page, and you let your soldier just suicide for no reason. All right. Now you get down here. The problem is your soldier's dead, so like it's gonna be pretty tough to do this, and then you die. If you are gonna do this, I think your real plan should have been drop down and hold block. But shield first, right? Shield first as you're dropping, then use the shield to buy as much time, then go Nemesis form, and then pop block. But this does not look like something that you're comfortable with. Like, if I told you right now, optimize survival. Like, focus on staying alive, I don't think you had the muscle memory and the game sense to know what that means. Like, I don't think, looking at this, I don't feel like you know what it means to just try to survive. Now, they end up capping, unfortunate. So, we're walking forwards. Alright, we shield off. I think the shield's okay, right? They're definitely applying pressure here, right? Genji's in my face. Vortex, I think this Vortex is actually good, right? This Vortex is fine. This forces Genji to dash out. Okay, good. Right? Now apply pressure. Right? Good. Yeah, soldier's low. Soldier's kill. Good. Right? Keep pushing. I'm at 625 out of 750 health. Keep pushing. Why not? Like, what am I waiting for? Just keep pushing. I still have Nemesis form. When I finish Nemesis form, I'll hopefully have shield up. Just keep pushing. Like, there's no reason to cancel this early. Just keep pushing. They're down a player right now, don't forget. They're down a player, so I want to push right now. I want to take the 5v4 before the soldier gets back. When I have numbers advantage, I push, right? This is Overwatch 101. Numbers advantage, push. Numbers disadvantage, either die right away or retreat, depending on a lot of situational factors. But if I have numbers advantage, push. So, right idea. I don't think the Vortex placement is so good. I think you're looking for something closer to the cart because you need to get used to the fact that it takes a while to get there. So you have to kind of predict where they're going to be. I think the shield is okay here. I think going to Nemesis form right away is not ideal. I think you could have gotten a lot more staff damage out. As a reminder, staff does more damage than Nemesis form. So if you want to kill a target quickly, often staff is better, assuming that you can actually hit your staff shots. The issue is that your aim is kind of a problem, but so be it. Like, one of the problems is, like, there's going to be a limit as to how far you'll ever climb if your aim doesn't get significantly better regardless. So you might as well just practice. Okay. Another good example where it's clear you do not play Rammatra. So she's sliding to the left. Your crosshair should be right here, right to the left, tracking to the left to be able to constantly apply damage to her as she slides. Instead, we're going to note how you're constantly behind her the whole time. You're aiming it like it's a hit scan. And you notice you hit none of this, right, until this point. Your accuracy here is sub 10%. Again, if you played Rammatra more, you'd be much more comfortable, right, with like leading targets with that staff. So, also, I don't think you really want to be chasing, right? You're low right now. Put the shield, walk back. Put the shield. I vortex myself right now. But you're super low right now, and I think you pop Nemesis because you're scared you're going to die. But ideally, you should have been able to stay alive there and use your regular Nemesis form to do it. But because this Annihilation's not in a good spot, you're going to die here, right? Like, you're going past here, but you're super low. Your supports aren't going to be able to heal you. You're already half health. Now you're down to a quarter health. Like, what's the plan here? And I think that's another thing. It's like, what's your plan? Is your plan, oh, I'm going to go in and try to get kills right now? Because that's a bad plan. Your plan should be, look, I got plenty of supports back here. We have high ground. We have plenty of control. Let's just control the corner. Why am I trying to pop ulti and go in and try to make a play here? And as a result, I die. And when I die, the fight's over. Now, what can your team do? Nothing. Everyone gets picked off, and we move on. But if you didn't die there, if you just stay alive. Staying alive is good on defense. Just literally not fighting on defense is great if their cart's not moving. Because on defense, like, it's their job to push. So there's no reason for me to force a fight that I don't need to. So you're playing super passive right now, despite the fact that you kind of had the opportunity to use staff, but you're also down one, so it's fine. If you think, hey, look, I can't control this corner, then go back, right? Just pull your team back and go further back, right? I think that's probably the right call and should have been the right call from the beginning. All right, you grabbed, right? Good job holding block. Just keep walking backwards the whole block. You have no other choice here. This is 100% going to be death anyway. That's fine, right? Like, they use grab, they use window, it's fine. We'll live with it. This is a good example where not having Annihilation, like, and not playing up reduces your options. Because what I really wanted to do here is, especially, like, because you're dead, right? Now the Brig gets killed, so now we're staggered. Now we're in a stagger situation. But if you already popped Cap the Sun, now go up. Like, see what I can do, right? Go up here, try to pop Cap the Sun, see if I can get kills here or something like that. But you're, like, playing super passive right now, despite full health, right? Now you're playing really scared when you should be aggressive, but now it's too late, right? Now you're going to clump with your team, and you're all going to end up dying, right? You get grabbed in, everyone dies. That's fine. Still winnable, right? Third point, pretty hard to take, as you saw. So, what's going on here? We got one over there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we gotta wait. We gotta wait for our teammates. That's fine. You gotta stop eating these right clicks. Like, she's just farming ult charge off of you. Like, every single right click she's hitting. This is a real problem. I didn't even notice this the first time I watched this replay. So, at this range, I think a Zarya should hit 25% of her right clicks. So let's watch. Okay, 1 for 1. 1 for 2. Oh, that one barely misses you. 1 for 3. 1 for 4. Right? Sorry. 4 for 4. I'm counting the wrong way. No. She missed one. I'm sorry. 3 for 4. Right? 3 for 5 as that one misses. Now that's 4 for 6. Right? And then 4 for 7. She's hitting a lot of shots against you. You're literally strafing into them. This is what you straight in the face. So that's 5 for 8. 6 for 9. Like, you're literally walking into the right clicks. Like, okay, it's on my right. Go to the left. Right? I see it. Just go to the left right now. You see how you strafe back into it? Like, this can't happen. You strafe back into this one. Like, you need to be able to track that projectile on your screen and then move away from it. This is FPS 101. But because you're eating so many right clicks, you've taken so much more damage right now, and now you're actually vulnerable to death. You're, as a reminder, less than half health in the tank means insta-death territory, and you're going to die here instantly. You have Nemesis form right now, by the way, which you could have popped and just held block and good. Like, your team can't play into this because you just die in situations where you have no business dying. Like, it's one thing if they dive into you and, like, you know, it's really tough and it's a hard situation. You have literally no reason to be dying right now. Like, you're pushing in past your shield right now with half health, and then you die with Nemesis form up. This is unplayable, quite frankly, for your team. Like, as your team, like, I don't know what I could possibly do differently here. You're just getting obliterated. You switch back to Winston, but, you know, as a reminder, your Winston play is not very strong. I do not want to be zapping the Zarya right now. Right? Winston, stay away from tanks. Stay away from tanks all the time. I go up here, I could force the Tracer back, right? Reload. I don't need bubble. Just force the Tracer back, reload, right? Then go after the backline later, potentially, but I have no DPS right now, so I probably need to chill. Just play back. Just wait. Like, they don't need to, like, you don't need to hold this corner anymore. Just let them come all the way here and then fight that one, because it's a much better fight for you right now. Right? Because otherwise it's a 5-on-3. So you get grabbed into it, and you're going to get one last contest, but the problem is everyone's staggered and running in, trying to stop the cart. So this is going to be a 4 and 5 situation already, so the odds of you being able to do anything right now are very, very low, and you get obliterated and you die. Okay, so to recap, right? You say, I feel a lot less control in this season, right? What brought our momentum to a halt? You know, what could I have done, blah, blah, blah. I think you really need to focus on, am I playing a hero right now because I'm trying my best to win the game, or am I playing a hero right now because I'm trying to learn this hero? And it's okay to pick the latter. I think people do this all the time. They're going to play a hero they know is not their best hero because they're trying to get better at it. And that's fine. If you want to train, you want to get better at Winston, play Winston. If you want to train and get better at Rammatra, do that. But I'm just noting here, if you're like, oh, I feel kind of helpless, like, what could I have done differently? I would say play your best hero. Sigma is way better than your other heroes by, like, an enormous margin. I think if you played Sigma versus your Winston, I think your Sigma would win, like, 90% of the time. This is a good way to structure this question. I do this a lot. I feel like this is a really good way to structure the thinking, right? That's how much better your Sigma play is than your Winston play. I think your Winston has no shot beating your Sigma. Even on a map that probably is Winston favored. Like, if you pick, like, Dorado, I think your Sigma play is still so much better, or another way to look at it, your Winston play is that much worse, that I think your Sigma would still win, even with a map disadvantage, right? Because you're just not that good at Winston. And it's fine. I mean, there's a lot of tips here, right? I have a lot of resources. There's a lot of guides out there, right, for you to get better at Winston. But, like, you have to understand, you're not doing anything on Winston right now, right? On a 0 to 10 scale of value, you're like 2, right? While your Sigma's like 8 or 9, right? You're getting a lot done on Sigma. You get almost nothing done on Winston, right? Think about it. Like, did you have a single ultimate on Winston or Rammatra here that won you a fight? No. Your Winston ultimates were useless, and your Rammatra ultimate got you kills, but then you just died after, and so they won the fight anyway. Hard to win games if your ultimates don't do anything. And you take forever to farm the ultimates as well for a variety of reasons. So, again, biggest takeaway here is if you're going to play a hero that you're not good at, well, first of all, you need to know you're not good at that hero and lower your expectations, right? Don't be like, oh, I can play Winston and totally carry this game. You can't. Not this level that you're at right now. You can't. There's no way, right? If I had to guess, like, if you had the one-trick Winston right now, I bet your win rate would be like 25% or below. Obviously, it would rise as you start dropping and you get closer to your rank, but I'm just noting that, like, it's a big gap. So, if you do want to play heroes that you're not as strong at, listen to what I said in the review, right? Watch watch my guides on the tanks, watch other people's guides on the tanks, consume any amount of my resources on Sigma, on Winston, on Rammatra, right? I play all these heroes in GM. You can watch my gameplay, you can watch other people's gameplay, whatever you want to do, right? Just that's the focus here. It's like, look, try to play better in every single aspect. It's not just one thing. It's literally like everything you do is, quite frankly, wrong. You don't look comfortable playing either one of those heroes, and you get very little value out of your abilities that you use. Okay, I'm gonna hold there. Again, hopefully this is helpful. I'm not trying to like rag on you or anything like that. I'm just just being straight about what I see and kind of like what the issues are. All right, I'll end that.